Welcome to the Dinar Daily, where we track the ongoing story of Iraq's economic evolution. For more than 2 decades, the Iraqi dinar has been a subject of intense global curiosity, maintaining a relatively low and stable value against major world currencies. This long period of stasis has captured the attention of many who see a narrative of potential transformation unfolding. The story is not one of overnight change, but of a methodical, multi-year journey. It involves a nation systematically rebuilding its economic foundations from the ground up, a process that is now showing tangible signs of progress. As we explore the latest chapters in this long-running saga, we will delve into the specific mechanisms and milestones that are shaping the financial trajectory of Iraq and its national currency, providing a comprehensive overview of the factors at play to fully grasp the context of the conversations surrounding the Iraqi dinar. One must first understand the concept of a currency revaluation. In simple terms, a revaluation is a deliberate, official adjustment by a country's government to increase the value of its currency in relation to others. This is distinct from the day-to-day fluctuations seen on the foreign exchange market, known as appreciation. For years, the exchange rate has required a substantial number of Iraqi dinars to equal a single US dollar. A revaluation would fundamentally alter this ratio. The very possibility of such a significant shift is what has sustained interest for so long, turning the dinar's story into one of the most closely watched economic narratives of the 21st century. The reasons behind the dinar's prolonged low valuation are deeply rooted in Iraq's recent history. The past several decades have been marked by profound challenges, including major conflicts, periods of intense political upheaval, and the immense task of national reconstruction. These circumstances created an environment of economic uncertainty that naturally suppressed the currency's value. Furthermore, international sanctions and persistent issues with corruption and institutional stability created significant headwinds, limiting the country's ability to foster the kind of robust economic growth necessary to support a stronger currency. This historical backdrop is essential for understanding not only why the journey has taken so long, but also the monumental scale of the reforms being undertaken today. In recent years, however, a clear shift in momentum has been observed. Iraq has been engaged in a determined effort to foster a more stable political environment, rebuild and modernize its national infrastructure, and, most critically, fortify its financial institutions. These are not small, isolated changes, but a concerted, foundational overhaul designed to create a resilient and credible economic framework. Each step, from passing new banking regulations to completing major infrastructure projects, contributes to a larger picture of a nation methodically preparing for a new economic era. This slow but steady progress is laying the groundwork upon which a more robust currency system could potentially be built, signaling to the world that Iraq is serious about its financial future. A cornerstone of this transformation is the comprehensive reform of Iraq's banking sector. Recognizing that a strong currency requires an equally strong and trustworthy financial system, the country has dedicated immense resources to aligning its banking practices with accepted international standards. This involves implementing modern regulations concerning transparency, anti-money laundering protocols, and credible transaction reporting. Such reforms are crucial for building confidence both domestically and internationally. A stable, transparent, and globally integrated banking system is a non-negotiable prerequisite for any potential revaluation, as it ensures that the financial architecture can support and sustain a higher currency value without creating instability or shocks to the economy. This extensive process of economic restructuring is being conducted in close cooperation with major international financial bodies. Iraq's engagement with organizations like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank is a powerful indicator of its commitment to globally recognized best practices. These partnerships provide Iraq with technical assistance, expert guidance, and a structured roadmap for its reforms, lending an additional layer of credibility to the entire endeavor. For international observers and potential foreign investors, This collaboration is a key signal that the country is not acting in isolation but is instead committed to a sustainable and transparent path of economic modernization, which is vital for building the global trust necessary for a stronger currency. At the heart of Iraq's economic potential is its immense wealth in natural resources, particularly its role as one of the world's foremost oil producers. The country's vast oil reserves provide a powerful and tangible asset base that underpins its entire economy. In recent years, Iraq has successfully maintained and, in many cases, increased its oil production, ensuring a steady and substantial stream of revenue. This consistent income from oil exports strengthens the nation's foreign currency reserves, providing a solid backing for the dinar. This fundamental economic strength, derived from a highly valuable commodity, is a critical factor that distinguishes Iraq's situation and fuels much of the optimism about its long-term financial prospects. The revenue generated from the oil sector is the lifeblood of the Iraqi state, directly funding the national budget, infrastructure projects, and the accumulation of foreign reserves. The stability of global oil prices, combined with Iraq's consistent production levels, creates a powerful financial foundation. This gives the country the ability to back its currency with real, tangible wealth, a luxury that many other nations do not possess. This resource-based strength provides a crucial reassurance to international partners and markets that Iraq's economy has the intrinsic capacity to support a more highly valued dinar. Consequently, the performance of the oil sector is one of the most closely watched indicators by analysts, monitoring the country's economic health and currency potential beyond its domestic reforms. Iraq is also making significant strides in integrating its economy with those of its neighbors and the wider global community. A key development in this area is the establishment of new trade agreements that facilitate transactions using the Iraqi dinar instead of relying exclusively on the US dollar. This move, while seemingly technical, is profoundly important. It represents a growing acceptance and utility of the dinar outside of Iraq's borders. As more international trade is conducted in dinars, the natural demand for the currency increases, which in turn provides organic support for its value. This is a clear strategic effort to enhance the dinar's role in regional and international commerce. This deliberate shift towards using the dinar in international trade is a critical component of positioning the currency for a stronger future. Every trade deal that bypasses the US dollar in favor of the dinar is a vote of confidence in Iraq's economic stability and the credibility of its currency. These developments demonstrate a strategic, outward-looking approach from Iraqi policymakers, who understand that a currency's strength is not just determined by domestic factors but also by its utility and acceptance on the world stage. For those following this story, the expansion of the dinar's role in international trade is a key indicator that the necessary conditions for a potential revaluation are slowly but surely being put into place. It is absolutely essential to appreciate the sheer complexity of orchestrating a currency revaluation. This is not a matter of a government simply flipping a switch or making a unilateral declaration. It is an intricate process that requires the perfect alignment of numerous domestic and international factors. Political stability must be assured. The national banking system must be robust and ready. The economy must be on a sustainable growth trajectory, and international partners must be in concert with the move. The process can be compared to the construction of a massive skyscraper. The foundation must be impeccably solid and meticulously laid before the upper floors can even be contemplated. For the past 20 years, Iraq has been engaged in the arduous task of rebuilding this economic foundation. The work has been slow, deliberate, and often fraught with challenges, but it has been continuous. The country has had to reconstruct its political institutions, modernize its financial infrastructure, and re-establish its credibility within the global financial community. Only now, after 2 decades of foundational work, are all the necessary components beginning to coalesce in a way that could realistically support a legitimate and sustainable currency revaluation. This long and methodical approach underscores the importance of patience for anyone observing the dinar's journey. Historical precedents, such as Kuwait's revaluation of its dinar following the Gulf War, offer valuable insights into the process. In Kuwait's case, the revaluation was not an impulsive act but the result of years of careful planning, preparation, and coordination with international financial partners. Banks had to be recapitalized and prepared, the economic impact had to be carefully modeled, and the timing had to be chosen to ensure maximum stability. Iraq is navigating a similar path, but on a much larger scale and after a more prolonged period of economic and political turmoil. Experts consistently emphasize that this journey is about building a system capable of supporting a credible, long-term increase in value, not about short-term speculative gains. For anyone who has followed the Iraqi dinar's story, it is natural to experience a mix of anticipation and prudence. While the narrative of economic recovery is compelling, it is important to ground expectations in reality. As of now, no official government announcements have been made regarding a specific date or a new exchange rate. The world of currency markets is notoriously complex and influenced by a multitude of factors, making any investment related to a potential revaluation inherently speculative. Financial professionals universally advise staying informed through official and credible sources while maintaining a clear understanding of the risks involved. The key to navigating this complex situation is to rely on verifiable information and maintain a patient, long-term perspective. Careful observation of concrete economic trends, official policy announcements from the Central Bank of Iraq, and updates on banking reforms can provide a much clearer picture than rumors or unsubstantiated claims. Small but significant shifts, such as new international trade agreements or milestones in banking compliance, often serve as more reliable early indicators of progress. For those monitoring the situation, a commitment to detailed research and a realistic assessment of the timeline are far more valuable than acting on speculative hype. Another critical area of focus is Iraq's ongoing relationship with the world's leading financial institutions. Active collaborations with entities like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are not merely symbolic. They are a clear and public commitment to deep-seated economic reform. These organizations provide invaluable expertise, helping Iraq navigate the intricate web of international currency regulations and ensuring that any potential changes to the dinar's value are implemented in a way that is both credible and sustainable. This alignment with global standards is fundamental to building the confidence of foreign investors and governments. The validation that comes from these international partnerships cannot be overstated. When a country adheres to the rigorous standards and recommendations of the IMF and World Bank, it sends a powerful message to the global financial community. It signals that its economic and financial data is trustworthy, its reforms are serious, and its long-term vision is aligned with established principles of stability and growth. This global recognition is perhaps one of the most potent indicators that Iraq is moving closer to a point where a significant currency event could become a viable policy option, representing a major step toward the credibility that observers have been waiting to see. Underpinning all economic progress is the crucial pillar of political stability. Over the past decade, Iraq has made significant, albeit challenging, progress in stabilizing its government and strengthening its political institutions. A predictable and stable political environment is essential for long-term economic planning and growth, as it reduces risk for both domestic and foreign investors. Without a reliable political landscape, even the most well-designed economic reforms and banking initiatives can falter. Political stability creates the fertile ground in which economic confidence can take root and flourish, attracting the foreign capital needed to diversify the economy. Investors and analysts understand that a nation's economic health is inextricably linked to its political climate. The alignment of three key factors, a stable political system, comprehensive financial reform, and a strong resource-backed economy, creates a powerful synergy. When these elements work in concert, the probability of a successful and sustainable currency revaluation increases significantly. The current trajectory in Iraq suggests a gradual convergence of these three critical areas, providing a basis for the renewed optimism being felt by those who have been following this story for many years. Many observers often wonder why this process has taken the better part of 2 decades. The answer lies in the sheer scale of the obstacles Iraq has had to overcome. Rebuilding a nation after prolonged periods of conflict, sanctions, and deep-seated political divisions is a task of monumental proportions. It requires not just economic planning but also the complete reconstruction of state institutions and the restoration of social trust. A currency's value is a reflection of a nation's overall health, and a revaluation can only be sustained when a strong foundation exists across domestic systems and international relationships. This context explains why patience has been the most essential virtue for anyone connected to the dinar's journey. It is also vital to approach the future with a sense of measured realism. Should a revaluation occur, it may not manifest as the single, dramatic event that some anticipate. Many economic analysts suggest that a more likely scenario would be a gradual, phased-in adjustment that could unfold over a period of months or even years. This methodical approach would help to prevent a sudden shock to the Iraqi economy, allowing businesses and consumers to adapt smoothly. It would also help to maintain the currency's credibility on the international stage, preparing for a potentially slow and steady appreciation rather than an instantaneous windfall. Helps to balance hope with a pragmatic understanding of modern economics. For those dedicated to following this narrative, monitoring a specific set of key indicators is the most effective way to stay informed. Official statements and publications from the Central Bank of Iraq are the primary source of credible information. Additionally, tracking public updates on the progress of banking reforms, announcements of new economic agreements with other countries, and official data on oil production and revenue levels can provide early and reliable signs of progress. This approach, based on analyzing concrete developments, allows for a more informed perspective than one based on speculation. By focusing on these verifiable data points, observers can make their own assessments of the situation as it evolves. In an age of rapid information sharing, a word of caution is always warranted. The internet, particularly social media platforms and online forums, is often filled with unsubstantiated claims, rumors of secret inside information, and purported guarantees of specific dates for a revaluation. It is critical to recognize that these are almost always false and can lead to misguided decisions. The reality is that the precise timeline and mechanics of any potential revaluation are known only to a small number of senior officials within the Iraqi government and its central bank, and even they are likely working within a flexible framework rather than a fixed, predetermined plan. The potential global impact of a successful and stable revaluation of the Iraqi dinar could be quite substantial. On a foundational level, it would significantly benefit the Iraqi people and strengthen their nation's position in international trade. A stronger, more stable currency could attract a wave of foreign investment into sectors beyond oil, helping to diversify the economy and create jobs. On a regional level, a thriving Iraqi economy could contribute to greater stability throughout the broader Middle East. Furthermore, it could serve as a compelling model for other resource-rich nations with undervalued currencies, demonstrating that a commitment to long-term economic planning and systemic reform can create pathways to prosperity. Finally, beyond the complex economic charts and political analyses, there is a distinctly human dimension to this long-running story. For 2 decades, many individuals around the world have held Iraqi dinars, often with modest sums, as an expression of faith in the nation's ultimate recovery and potential. For them, the possibility of a revaluation is more than just a financial event. It represents the culmination of years of patience and a belief in the resilience of the Iraqi people. This human element serves as a powerful reminder that behind the macroeconomic indicators in geopolitical discussions are the hopes and aspirations of ordinary people whose lives could be positively impacted by these financial developments. It is a narrative of patience and belief that has spanned a generation.